So those who says good evening, I am also saying good evening. Online students, am I audible? Okay. So now let us move to the further. Previously, we already started. We discussed in the last class. I hope so. What was our last class concept? Decorator. So decorator we discussed it. Last two. Sit along with everybody. Why separately sitting? Sit with everybody. Hmm. So today we are talking about exception handling. Exception handling in Python we'll discuss. Exception handling in Python we discuss. There is a part of that. Index for HANA con. Today concept is exception handling. So here, shall I explain in depth or just normal? Normal, medium, in depth. But you don't read. Sir will explain in depth. But reading is normal. Okay, students, even if you don't say in depth, my policy itself is in depth. Right? Just I'll ask you what you will say. Here I'm going to talk about purpose of exception handling. Purpose of exception handling. And next we'll talk about the types of errors. Types of errors. There we'll talk types of errors. There we'll talk compile time errors. Compile time errors. Next we'll talk about logical errors. Logical errors. And C we'll talk about runtime errors. Runtime errors. Okay. That is first types of errors. Next we'll go for building 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 points in exception handling. Very, very important. Building points in exception handling. Okay. Types of errors, compile time errors, logical errors. Next. Types of exceptions. Types of exceptions. There we'll talk about predefined, predefined or built-in exceptions. BUI. Built-in exceptions. Built-in exceptions. Second, we'll talk about programmer or user or custom defined exceptions. Custom defined exceptions. Custom defined exceptions. Custom defined exceptions. Very important. Followed by programming examples. Programming examples. Okay. This is the first part. Next, I'm going to talk about, this is what I'm going to discuss today. Next, I'm going to talk about keywords for dealing with exception handling. Keywords for dealing with exception handling. There we have try. Next we have except. Next we have else. Next we have finally. Next we have raise. Raise. How many keywords? Five. Five. Syntax for handling. Syntax for handling exceptions. Syntax for handling exceptions. Syntax for handling exceptions, followed by programming examples. And next we are talking about explanation for the keywords of exception handling. Explanation for the keywords of exception handling, followed by programming examples. Next, we'll talk about various forms of various forms of exception handling, various forms of exception handling, followed by programming examples. Okay, this is another part of it. Next, we'll talk about development of development of programmer or user or custom defined exceptions. Development of programmer or user or custom defined exceptions, followed by programming examples. Next we'll talk about ATM 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 case study, ATM case study with exception handling. This is what is the discussion of exception handling here. This is what I'm talking about in the exception handling. So this concept will take 4 to 5 days. 4 days it will take max. I may be talking about this. Shall we start up? So let us start with exception handling. And this topic will carry forward all the previous topics. All the previous topics will be carried forward here. After this exception handling, we'll talk about the files. Files. Exception handling about the files will be coming once again over there. So all previous topics will be carried forward. Even in the last topic also, everything will be carried forward in the further. So let me start discussing about what exactly the purpose of exception handling in real time and how it is. See students, this topic most important in real time students, most important in real time. So every real time project makes use of what you know, exception handling. Let me start the importance of exception handling now. So let's start with introduction to exception handling. That introduction to exception handling itself is going to give you something like this. So let me start introduction to exception handling now. Very, very easy students. Try to follow carefully here. So now introduction to exception handling. So in real time, I'll explain students and documentation I'll show you finally. Online students, shall I start discussing now? So who is this person? Suresh A. What is this? HTTP, LinkedIn, what is this? Hemanath. Suresh, Mr. Suresh, what happened to you guys? What happened to you? That is by mistake. Okay. So are you chatting with somebody or what? Huh? Are you chatting with somebody? I think you are doing that. That's what. So do one work. Either you chat with somebody or learn subject. Both of them doing means what? Problem. So one boat is going to Python. One more boat is going to Hemanath boat. This is. If we keep one leg here and one more leg here, finally problem will come. So try to learn properly. So I'm going to start with exception handling importance. So who knows Oracle here? Hmm? Who knows Oracle? You know Oracle? Huh? You know Oracle? In Oracle, exception handling is there, right? They explain. It is there or not? At least they touched the topic. What is the definition? Explain. No, no. They explained or not? First you tell me. Ma? Huh? చేయలేదా ఎందుకు అంటే నైట్ అయిద్దానా అంటే మార్నింగ్ టైం ఓన్లీ మార్నింగ్ టైం దే విల్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ మార్నింగ్ 6 to ఈవినింగ్ 6 when 6 is over they don't explain so time అయిపోయిందా okay so concept is left out means duration is over they won't cover okay first time I am seeing so see that should who knows Java here Java. You know Java. You know Java. In Java also there is an exception handling. Exception handling is there. So not started. Okay. Oops, completed. Okay. So in Java also exception handling is there. So in every language exception handling is available. So one student said the duration is over, exception handling not explained. Like the duration over exception handling not explained. See how beautiful it is. So I'm going to start about. See students, how good I am. I'm explaining. I'm not considering the duration. I'm giving the quality of training. This is what is called importance. Am I looking into this time to this time only need to take 2 months means 2 months duration is over like that? Hmm? So even duration is over, people are not saying anything. But here we'll complete everything and I'll give you most beautiful knowledge. Read and come to the class. Once again, I am saying to everybody. Let's start. In real time, to develop any project, to develop any project, to develop any project, we choose, we choose a language. We choose a language. Language is compulsory to develop any big project. Language is compulsory. By using the language, by using that language, we develop, we develop, compile, we compile and execute various programs. Various programs. We develop, we compile, and we execute various programs. Students, to develop any project in real time, we use a language. By using that language, we develop, we compile, and execute various programs. During this process, during this process, I'm writing, during this process, we get three types of errors. Three types of errors. They are, now I'm going to write it. Generally, people will say two types of errors. One is compile time error, runtime error. But actually, third error is a very danger. Third error is also very danger. What is the number one? Compile time error. Compile time error. Compile time error. Second one is called what? Third one is generally people will say runtime error. And the second one is very, very important, which proves the correctness of the application. What is it? Logical error. Logical error. So here I am going to talk about what do you mean by compile time error? What do you mean by logical error? What do you mean by runtime error? We are supposed to discuss one by one. Very easy, students. Now let us start understanding about what do you mean by compile time error and how do you understand this compile time error. Compile time error, logical error are normal. Runtime error, our concept deals here. Our concept deals with what? This place only. So compile time error I am going to discuss. There I am talking about these errors. I am writing here. These errors occurs. These errors occurs during compilation time. During what? Compilation time. These errors occurs during compilation time. What do you mean by compilation time? Dot py to what here? Dot pyc. Dot pyc. That is called what? Compilation time. Students, why these errors are occurring? First of all, these errors are occurring during compilation time. Compilation time is nothing but Python compiler converting the source code into intermediate code. That is bytecode time that will come across. Another example is, another point is these errors, these errors occurs due to syntaxes are not followed. Syntaxes are not followed, not followed, not followed during program development, during program development, during program development. So you are writing the program, that time you are not following the syntaxes. Because of that, you are getting which errors? Compile time errors will come. See, my dear students, go to the Python environment once more. Go to the Python environment once. Here I am going to take up run as an administrator. Here I am going to write it. See, my dear students, A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20, C is equal to A plus I am writing. A plus. When I write A plus, generally plus operator need what, ma? Plus operator need left side one variable, right side one more variable required. Plus operator need left side one variable, right side also need one more variable. But here I mentioned only left side variable, right side I did not mention any variable. So coming to the point of it, here I am going to write it. Which error? All syntax errors are called which errors? Good. So coming to the point back, so one more sentence I'll write it. A is equal to 10, B is equal to that is assignment operator right hand side. I am not writing anything. Again, it is called which error? Syntax error. So anytime if we get syntax error, that is known as which error? Read carefully. These errors occurs due to syntaxes are not followed during program development. These errors occurs during what time? Compilation time. Now students, who will sort it out? Who will solve these errors? Programmer will solve it. Now I'm going to write these errors. These errors are solved by whom? Who will solve that? Programmers. Solved by programmers during development time. During your program development time only, you will sort it out. These are called what, ma? These are called what errors? Compile time errors. So this point already you know, na? Well, next second one I am talking about logical errors. Easy, students. Logical errors also very easy, students. So try to follow. These errors occurs during runtime. These errors occurs during runtime or execution time. These errors occurs during runtime or what? Execution time. Sir, why these errors are coming basically? These errors occurs due to see. Go to the example first. Try to discuss everything through example. A is equal to 10 students, B is equal to 3. Somebody asked, calculate A plus B by 2. A plus B by 2. This is called what? Question. This question solved by one of the programmer as C is equal to A plus B by 2. Like this, they are solving it. What are the values substituted? 10 plus 3 by 2. What are the value placing over there? 1.2. 3 by 2 kada? 3 by 2 means what? 1.5. Sorry. 1.5. What is the answer is going to come? What is the answer is going to come? 11.5 is an answer. 11.5 is an answer. Right. P2 is another programmer. P2 is another programmer. What P2 programmer is getting? C is equal to of what I am doing? A plus B by what? 2. A plus B by 2. Somebody else is calculating like that. What is the answer is coming? 10 plus 3 by 2, which is going to be called as what? 6.5. So P2 programmer got this answer. P1 programmer got this answer. Then which is the correct answer? He himself feeling that it is the correct. He himself feeling that it is the correct. But both of them are getting results. Answers are coming, but this answer is going to be correct. This answer is going to be correct. This answer is called what? Wrong. Because according to our given test case, according to our given statement, this is the most suitable logic, and this is called what? Wrong representation of the logic. Definitely will give you which results? Wrong results will come. So here I'm writing C is equal to A plus B by 2. You say print off what I'm saying. C you say 11.5 is coming. You say A is equal to 10, B is equal to 3, C is equal to what? A plus B by what? 2 you say. And print off what now? C you write it. Print off C you write it. And you got what? 6.5. And here you got this result, and here you got this result. And this result is called what? Correct result. And this result is what? Wrong result. Go back to that. These errors occurs due to what is this? Wrong representation of logic, or incorrect representation of logic is going to give you which error? Logical error. Finally, I am going to give you these errors occurs due to wrong representation of logic, and these errors are occurring during execution time or runtime. And logical errors always gives which results? Logical errors always gives which result? Come on, a wrong result. Wrong result they will give you. And who will sort it out these errors? Programmer only. Otherwise, the team leader or project manager will not take your project. Your application will not be taken. This also to be solved by the programmers during which time? Development time only. Finally, coming to the point back. This is called logical errors, and this is compile time errors. Now I'm going to enter into where? Runtime errors. Let us coming to the runtime errors now. Let us coming to the runtime errors. Very, very easy. Very, very easy I'm going to discuss. Simple students. Let me move to the further. This runtime errors related to what? Exception handling here. And generally, whether you take Java or you take anything, of course, I'm not boasting about it. They won't explain anything according to the industry requirement. Something they will explain, you can't understand anything at all. After you understand runtime errors in my Python, you try to look at your Java side or Oracle side or anything, at least you will get some awareness about it, how to deal with that. So that part will take care here. When do you get these runtime errors? First of all, here also, these errors are occurring, these errors are occurring during runtime or what? Execution time. Next, another part I am going to take it. These errors occurs due to what? Wrong representation of logic. These errors occurs because of wrong syntaxes. Either you will do syntax mistake or you will do logic mistake at your side. So if no logic mistake, if no syntax mistake, if no logic mistake, if no syntax mistake, and the project is successful, correct or not? No logic error, no syntax error, project is successful. Project is successful. It is ready to release. Once the project is released, it comes to what? Implementation phase. It comes to implementation phase. What do you mean by implementation? Bring into an action format. Bring into an action format. Action format means what? You will apply the normal data to this project. An ATM application is launching and all the customers are applying their data to the ATM machine. That is known as which time? Implementation time. A project being used by the normal people are comes under what? Implementation time. Students in the online, coming to the point of it, why these errors are occurring? Simple, which in the beginning level I said, these errors occurs due to wrong input. Wrong input. Very, very important. Wrong input are called what? Invalid input. Invalid input entered by what? Users. Entered by users or application users. Application users. Entered by what? Entered by whom? As user or what? Application users. These errors occurs due to wrong input or invalid input entered by users or what? Application users. Very, very simple. Let me give you some small explanation here. What is that now? Take the best example. From here onwards, you take it. Go to the browser once. Try to take mail. I want to go for a verification of the mail onwards. Go to this place. Now it is asking enter your password. This is under running only, na? My app is under running only. Now I am entering my password. Something I am entering wrong. Something I am entering wrong. I entered completely wrong. I say next. The moment when I say next, do you know? It will check this password and definitely it is wrong. And it is showing to me. Me means what here? I am an user of Gmail. I am an application user. I am an application user, students. I am an application user. This will show me, this will show me by default actually. See here, two things are there, ma'am. By default, you will get technical error message will come. Technical error messages. Who will understand technical error messages? Only programmer can understand. End user cannot understand. By default, any language, any technology, if you consider, by default, what will happen? Technical error messages only will be coming, which are understandable by the Python programmer, not understandable by whom? End users. Because the technology don't know what project you people are developing and to whom you are developing, they don't know. Python, Rosam don't know that which project you are developing for which organization, correct or not? He developed it. So when the invalid input is coming, by default technologies or languages will give you by default which messages? Technical error messages. Who will understand? Programmer. Who will not understand? End user. Is it recommended in industry generally? No, no. Any project you take it, what it will be given by default? User friendly message will be coming. You see now, I entered wrong. See that? Enter wrong. What is the message coming? Please read out here. Chadukonde. Wrong password. Try again. Click to forget or reset it. This is more than enough to make the end user to understand they entered wrong. This message is called user friendly error message. Spell out, ma. User friendly error message. User friendly error message. This message is understandable by the end user. By default, which messages will come? Then generally, technical error messages. These error messages understandable by Python programmers only. End users cannot understand. So your role in the industry is what? What is your role in the industry? What is your role in the industry? Your role is understand technical error message, apply which concept, exception handling, and convert into which message. If I give user-friendly error message, is my application is strong or weak? Strong. If we give technical error message as it is to the user, user don't understand your messages, right or not? User don't understand the technical error messages. Python errors are not understandable by Python users. Correct or not? Python programmers only don't understand, but Python users cannot understand. No user will understand technical error messages of any language. So whose corresponding programmers will understand? You will use exception handling. You will convert that exception handling into what? Using that exception handling and convert into what? Finally, what is my conclusion? In industry, every programmer, even a small project also, by default technical error messages will come. Such technical error messages are converted by you by using exception handling into what? So that that application liked by the end users. That's why they are called what? Strong. Strong is nothing but what? Robust. I think you are understanding. If end user commits mistake, you are telling what is that mistake. Is the end user will feel very happy or not? If your application is giving by default which message? Technical error message, that will give you what? A wrong impression about the development. That's why no programmer in the industry leave the application as technical error message. Compulsory they will convert the technical error messages into which messages? So to do this conversion, which concept is required for us? So irrespective of Java, irrespective of Python, irrespective of any language, definitely what is required? Exception handling is required, which will convert what messages to what messages? Technical error messages to Yes. By default, what messages will come? Good. Who will understand? Programmer. Who will not understand? End user. End users need what? User friendly messages they need. User friendly error messages they need. But by default, what messages will come? Technical. So as a programmer, what he will do? Convert the technical error messages into user friendly error message. To do that, what concept he will apply? Simple. So I'm entering the name. For example, enter your name. See, this is one of the most useful explanation. Enter your name. Enter your name. I'm entering something like row sum for m I am entering. Like this I'm entering. Is it valid or invalid? Invalid. Why invalid? Because I have one type of number 4. Invalid. I should tell what? I should tell what? Name should not contain digits. Name should not contain digits. What message it is? User friendly. If I give some unknown message, end user cannot understand now. So that's why you have to give which messages? User friendly error messages. One more time I am asking, invalid name I can say. Invalid name because it contains, hmm, because it contains numeric. Because it contains what? Numeric. Numeric. Now I am writing one more thing here. Enter your, enter your name once again. Enter your name. I am entering ROSS dollar UM. What is this ROSS dollar UM? Dollar is called what? Special symbol. Also called which input? Invalid input. Also called invalid input. Because it contains what? Yes, because it contains special symbol. Because it contains a special symbol. See students, because it contains special symbol. Next I will take it last and final. Now I am writing enter. This is containing something like this. Enter your name. I am writing something like this. Here I am writing row sum I am writing. Is it valid or not? So that means if they enter something wrong, you have to go for validation. So validations are specially done with what concept, exception handling, which is a really an important students. Now I'm going to take up. These errors occurs due to wrong input. Finally, I'm writing by default. Here I'm writing by default all the languages, all the languages, all the languages, all the languages gives. I will write it. Which input we are entering? Wrong input or invalid input. Which errors will come? Right. So that part I will write it here. Later I will write this sentence. When runtime errors comes, when runtime errors occurs, when runtime errors occurs, when runtime errors occurs, by default, language or technology, by default, what is happening? All the languages and technologies gives which messages? Technical error messages. Technical error messages, which are, hmm, which are understandable by very important, which are understandable by who? Programmers, but not by, yes, but not by end users, but not by end users. When runtime errors occurs, when runtime errors occurs, by default, all the languages gives technical error messages, which are understandable by programmers, but not by end users. This is not a, this is not a recommended process, recommended process, recommended process in real time. This is not a recommended process in real time. According to industry standards, I'm writing here, according to industry standards, I'm writing according to industry standards, according to industry standards. What is happening? According to industry standards, it recommends, it recommends to display, to display always which messages? User friendly error messages, user friendly error messages, user friendly error messages, user friendly error messages, user friendly error messages for making for making the application as, for making the application as, for making the application as what? Robust. For making the application as what here, students? Robust. For making the application as robust. Are you able to follow now? Robust. I can write robust here. It's very, very important, students. You apply on Java also. You apply on C++ also. You apply on Oracle also. These points you take care. And the syntaxes will differ. According to industry standards, it recommends to display always user-friendly error messages for making the application as robust by using which concept? Exception handling. So exception handling purpose is what? What is the use of exception handling? Come on. The purpose of what? Exception handling. Purpose of exception handling is that to develop, to develop or what? Build, build. Which applications? Robust applications. Robust means what? Strong applications. To build or what? Build or what? Robust applications. To develop or build robust applications. This is the scenario of what? Exception handling. And actually, this concept is going to be heading. I will keep it as what? Types of errors in Python. Even in Java also. Even in Java also. If anybody says that compile time error and runtime error, you ask a question. Sorry if I write wrong, wrong logic. What is that error called? You ask them. When you write a wrong logic, compiler don't know errors, no? Compile knows only syntaxes. Who will check about the correctness of the data? I have to take care about what? Logical error. You designed a car. You designed a car. Car looks well. Everything looks well. But engine defect is there. Engine defect. What the engine defect is called? What is the engine defect? Logical error. Are you following that? Engine AC defect is there. That is known as which error? Yes, dashboard error, dashboard, some small minor issue is there. That is known as what? Logical error. So after checking everything, they will go for releasing that application, ensuring that no compile time errors, no logical errors. I think you are carefully understanding what is compile time error, what is logical error, what is runtime error. Here, I will write one beautiful point, students. What is the beautiful point? If you understand me, here I am writing. One note point, I will write it. What is the note point here? Here, two things. Always from now onwards, you apply. When the end user, end user is nothing but we are the users who are going to deal with what? ATM. We are the end users or not? When the end user enters what input? Valid input, valid input. For example, then when the end user enters valid input to the project, then the project gives successful result. Correct or not? Successful result. Successful result it is going to give you. Successful result it is going to give you. When the end user enters valid input to the project, then the project gives what result? Successful result. Next I'm going to enter. When the end user enters which input? Invalid input. Now I'm going to write it. Very, very useful thing. When the end user enters invalid input to the project, then the project, then the project must display which message, ma? User friendly error message. User friendly error message. These two slogans you remember, you will do very good. Generally, our academics, generally most of the teachers, what they do, they will enter valid data and they will show the result. What you will do after going to home, you will also enter valid input. You will see the valid output. That means who is developing? You only. Who is running? You only developing. And both of them are doing your only. You are only developing, you are only running. So you will know what to enter, what not to enter. You developed it. Actually, in real time, what is happening? You will develop it. Somebody else will work out. Correct or not? When they are working, what input there is a chance of entering? Wrong input they will enter. When they enter wrong input, what will be the result? Wrong input definitely will not give result. Not giving result, what is an answer? User friendly message. What is that user friendly message? You have entered so and so wrong, wrong password, wrong username, something, whatever the mistake you did, that type of mistake I must tell them. That is called your subject. This second one is there is a chance of intelligence is present here. I think when the end user enters valid input to the project, then the project must display user friendly error messages by using what concept? Exception handling. Not only in Java, not only in Python, in every language, this is a concept same. In a simple word, you are a student. You are a student. Student is also called what? One program. What student is doing always? Reading. Always a student is reading. What you will get it? Huh? Always student is reading. What student will get? Huh? Good job. What is that result? Life is enough now. Successful input. Valid input means what? Reading. Project. Project means student. Gives what result? Happy. Now, one more unhappy situation. But student is there. Student is there. They won't read. Not reading. This is a message for not reading students. Not reading. What will not come? 100%. What you do, result is along with you only. I am not talking about the spirituality. What you do, that will come as a result for you. If you work hard, definitely result will come. If you don't do anything, lazy if you say, what will come? Same thing will come. Not reading. Definitely what? No job. No job means what? User friendly. All people saying jobless, jobless employee, jobless, 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 jobless. You feel guilty, not going anywhere. No functions, nothing, nothing. Yesterday I went to one function. These days, every Sunday I'm going to one function or the other. Morning I went to one function, evening also I went to one function. There, one of my relative, 7 years onwards. What are you doing? Searching for a job. He's searching, still searching only. So I think in universe, no jobs are there because 7 years searching. What he will do? He learned all courses which is available in every loops and corner over. From where? SAS onwards, ABAP onwards, Python onwards, Java onwards, everything he studied. I don't think he is not my class. He asked me one or two times, their parents asked me, when your Python will start? I will tell you when it starts, I said, but I did not tell. Why bad name for me? Because he is a guy, you will pay the fees, you will not read the notes. So that type of candidates, if you tell, success rate will become problem. So, Ganesh Babu, something Ganesh Babu is saying. Sir, he may choose to be an businessman. See, businessman or whatever the man, definitely wrong input will be given. Of course, maybe Ganesh Babu is correct. Maybe a businessman, that is depends on his talent. But I did not look into that angle, that candidate. But I'm looking into studies point of it. 7 years onward, I'm remembering, started asking him from 2017 onwards. 2017. But their parents will feel always want to feel proud of it. But this guy is doing, they don't know. But I know what they are doing. His father asked me, why he is not getting job? I should say, you only need to say, what can I say? No, what is the problem actually? I don't know, I said. Actually, I know the problem. If I tell after going to home, they will fight each other. Exception will come in the home. That's why I don't want to say. I know the problem. So let that guy. That's why students, your life is also one Python program. What inputs you need to give always? What input you need to give always? Valid input. Something going wrong, exception will come in life. When exception come in life, what will happen? Breaks will come. Correct? Take care. And don't tell this example in interviews. Valid input to the project gives you successful result. Invalid input gives you what? Invalid input gives you what? User-friendly message. Saying that, don't enter this input. Password entered wrong. What are the messages coming? Wrong password. Like that, you need to give such type of messages. Able to, students, are you able to understand me? Well, now, online students, can you please conclude and make me to get confirmation? Is it clear for everything? I'll take an example. I'll take an example. Online students, please respond. Everybody need to respond. So here, exception, exceptions. Now I'll write it notes. So here, students, coming to this place like this. Now, students, here, try to say, coming to the point of it. Dear students, now I'm entering into further. Morning, are you understanding the class? NumPy is easier, Python is easier. Huh? Both are. Who said both? If you say both like that, to whom I have to ask? Both E and U. What is that? Both of you stand up once. You ask one question to him and don't ask simple question. What is it? Oracle. Python you ask. What is Python? Sit down. Both of you sit down. If you ask what is Python, you will say something. You will ask what is data type, you will ask. Simple questions they will ask. When you ask question, people should feel that a dangerous question. Can I ask one question? No. Okay. Like that. Should fear. Okay, students. Anyhow, let us coming to this now. I'll move to the further. Now, Farhana Khan. NumPy more easy than Python. Actually, NumPy is not easy, complicated. Because Python, you have seen different varieties of long coding. When it comes to short, it'll feel more easy. General example, outside people. Nowadays, Indian culture is going out. Generally, earlier used to wear pants, full pant. Nowadays, short, feeling comfortable. And walking also, I'm feeling, I should tell to GHMC people, keep a fine for these guys. If anybody is going this off, so it's not good. Okay, students, anyhow, come. I'll move to the further. How many types of errors? Number one, compile time errors, logical errors, runtime error. Why runtime errors are coming? Because of invalid input or wrong input. Why logical errors are coming? Because of wrong representation of logic. Why compile time errors are coming? Because of syntaxes are not followed. Not answering, you are not answering. In any kind of project time, 3 errors compulsory. Only 3 errors. Number one, syntax is not followed. Which error? Good. Invalid logic. Logical error. Logical error. You developed everything. Logic is correct. No compile time error. Project is successfully done. You installed. Now it is under implementation part. What is happening that time? End user is entering wrong input. What is that is called? Come on. Runtime error. Are you following? Right. Writing the notes very well. No mistakes. What is not there? Compile time errors are not there. Writing the notes with mistakes. Logical error. You have written notes well. No mistakes. Everything is perfect. Not reading. Runtime error. Now you understood very well. Perfect. Because you are not reading also. He connected to me quickly because he is practical answer he is facing. Are you getting? Okay. Now, students, application part of it, you must go for it. Nirkar Behra. That's true, he's saying. So, coming to the point back, this part you see, now I am entering into the further. Shall I move to the further? I am going to talk about what is the use of exception handling. Everybody try to answer. What is the use of exception handling? The use of exception handling is to develop what applications? To build what applications? Robust applications. Robust is nothing but what? Strong. In present applications, you take Java, you take C, C++, you take Python, C Sharp.NET, everywhere else, any project, end user enters wrong. Is it telling what entered wrong they will tell or not? The type of intimation done by using which concept? Exception handling we can call. Shall I move forward? Yes, very, very simple. Now I am entering into one important concept I am going to discuss. Online students, if you understand me carefully, now I am entering into this area. Online students, please refer once, respond once. Is my explanation clear? Is my explanation clear? So that I can move to this place. So here, first point, second point, and then I would like to write 8 points here. 8 points. If you learn 8 points, you will become excellent student. You will become excellent student. So 4. This is 4. Next I will take it 5. And next is called 6, 7. And next I will write 8. I'll write 8. And I'll write 9 also if possible. Actually 8 points only I want to write. If any difficulty if you feel, I will split that point. Come on. First point is very clear. What is that? When the application user, when the application user, when the application user enters what? Wrong input, wrong input, wrong or what? Invalid input, invalid input. Then we get, then we get runtime error. Good, runtime error. That's all. In the bracket, if you want, what is this now? Invalid input, invalid input is going to give you what? Runtime error, runtime error. Invalid input gives you what error? Runtime error. Is it clear? Second point. All runtime errors by default gives what messages? Come on. Technical error messages. Technical error messages. Technical error messages. I will write in the bracket. What is this now? In an equation format, I am giving invalid input, invalid input. Because to write the coding very well, these points are like a formulas, concept points these are. Invalid input, which error? Runtime error. Runtime error gives which messages? Good. Technical error messages. Super. That is the second point. Third point I am talking about it. Define, define or definition of exception handling. Definition of exception handling. Sorry, definition of exception. Definition of what? Exception handling. Hmm. Definition of exception handling. But I want to tell you here, definition of exception handling, and here definition of what? Exception, I will take it. What is the definition of exception, students? Now I am writing. Every runtime error, I'll give some examples to you. Every runtime error is called what? Every runtime error is called what? Exception. Terminology I am covering. In the bracket, if we want, every runtime error is called what? If we want in an equation format, it is known as what? Exception. Every invalid input is called what? Runtime error. Runtime error is known as what? Very good. Now, definition of what I'm talking, exception handling. What is the definition of exception handling here? Very, very simple. The process of converting, the process of converting which messages, technical error messages, technical error messages, technical error messages into, very good, into user-friendly error messages. What is the need of converting into user-friendly error messages? Can you tell me the answer? To make the application as robust. If they enter a mistake, if you tell their mistake to the end user will feel that this application is very strong. Simple, students. When you go to the ATM center, if you keep your card reverse you kept, card reverse you kept. Keeping the card in reverse is called which input? Invalid input. Keeping card in reverse is called what? Invalid input. Invalid input gives you what? That runtime error today known as, that will give you by default which messages? So, such a type of technical error messages should be converted into what? User friendly. Saying that what? Remove the card and insert properly. What this message is called? Yes, that is called exception handling. So here, every exception is known as runtime error. Here I would like to mention one more point. All exceptions by default gives, this I will write, separate point I will write, students. Fourth point rasanide. Fourth point. All exceptions, all exceptions by default gives, which messages? Technical error messages. Technical error messages. Technical error messages. All exceptions by default gives technical error messages. Definition of exception handling, fifth point I am writing. What is that? What it says? Very, very easy. Definition of exception handling, the process of converting technical error messages into what? User-friendly error messages is called what? Is called what here? Exception handling. I hope you are following this. Definition of exception handling. So as I said now, just now, inserting the code in reverse order. Inserting the code in reverse order is called what? Invalid input. Gives you which error? Inserting the code in reverse order is called which input? Invalid input. Invalid input is known as what actually? Exception. 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 That exception is going to give you what message by default? Technical error message. Technical error message. The technical error messages are converted into what? User friendly. That means any end user do wrong input, you are straightforward supposed to give which messages? Yes, that is what we are going to call it as exception handling importance. I think I did not, I did not make you too confused. I gave you clarity, I think so. Are you following? One more thing, for example, you are entering pin, pin you entered wrong. Pin you entered wrong. What is that? Is it a compile time error, logical error, runtime error? Pin entered wrong. What error it is? Good, runtime error. Why? It is under running time you are entering. End user is entering that. Any end user enter wrong, that is called exception. All sorts of invalid inputs are known as what? Exceptions. Here I will write it. All types of invalid inputs. All invalid inputs. All invalid inputs are considered as considered as what? Exceptions. All invalid inputs are considered as what? Exceptions. All exceptions by default gives technical error messages. Okay, I am entering pin wrong. Once you enter a pin wrong, what is asking? What is saying to you? What the message is coming? Invalid pin. Invalid pin. Try again. Are you getting or not? What is this message? Invalid pin. User friendly error message. So that I can understand. Oh, by mistake, I entered something wrong. Okay. You entered next time pin wrong. Enter the amount to deposit. or enter the amount to withdraw. You said 20,000. You said 20,000, but you have only 10,000 in your account. You have 10,000 in your account. What will happen? You will get insufficient funds or not? What this message is called? Come on. That means any real-time project, if you take it, once you enter wrong input, that will give you runtime error. All runtime errors in Python are called exception. All invalid inputs are considered as what? Exceptions now. All exceptions by default gives which messages? Technical error messages. Definition of exception handling now. The process of converting technical error messages into user-friendly error messages. User-friendly error messages. User-friendly error messages is called what? Exception handling. Getting or not? So exceptions definition clear and the definition of exception handling clear. Online students, I think these points are very clear. Now I'm entering into fifth point. So sixth point I'm going to enter. So try to confirm once. Up to here, is it clear? Entering wrong pin, drawing more money than your accounting balance, keeping the card in reverse order, wrong passwords. These are all called what? Wrong inputs. Wrong inputs are called what? Exceptions. Every wrong input from now onwards, you have to call it as what? Exception. Exceptions by default gives which messages? Technical error message. That is the meaning. Exception handling. Handling of which messages? Technical error message. Giving you which messages? User friendly. That is the meaning of what? Exception handling. Any doubt about this understanding? Clarity is there? Right. Now, online students, I hope now I am entering into the sixth point. Sixth point I am going to enter. Very, very important. When the exception occurs, when the exception occurs in Python, when the exception occurs in Python programming, or when the exception occurs in Python program, three things will three steps takes place internally. Three steps takes place internally. Very, very important. Little difficult for the student to catch it quickly. Number one, three things will takes place. Number one, number two, number three. What is the first thing? When the exception occurs in the Python program, there are three things will occur internally. Number one, I am going to take up Python program execution, program execution, program execution terminated abnormally, terminated, terminated abnormally, abnormally terminated. Program execution abnormally terminated. Do you know abnormal termination and successful termination? Abnormal termination means in the middle of the program execution. Suppose you went to do the successful transaction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What is the first step? Inserting the code, entering the PIN number, verifying the PIN number, choosing the favorites, withdraw, deposit, etc. Withdraw choosing, withdraw amount entered, verified the withdraw amount. If everything is correct, take the cash and take the card and come out of the ATM. 10 instructions are there. You enter your PIN number and PIN number verified it is a wrong. What will happen? Will it go further? Choose your favorite. We enter the withdraw amount. Will they ask like that? What will happen immediately? That fifth step itself will be stopping, coming out of it and saying that what? Invalid PIN. What is this meaning? Line number fifth, program execution is abnormally terminated. It stopped executing. It stops executing. So, program execution abnormally terminated. Program execution abnormally terminated. Abnormal means what? Abnormal meaning is what? In the middle of the execution, it is terminated. Are you able to follow? If you leave the class in the middle of that by having some problem, that is known as abnormal termination, we can call. Are you able to get it up? Second, Program execution abnormally terminated. Successful termination means what? First to last instruction if I execute, that is called what? Successful transaction. Okay. Second one, PVM. The moment when program execution abnormally terminated, PVM comes out of program flow, comes out of program flow, comes out of program flow, and PVM by default by default generates which messages? Technical error messages, technical error messages, or error message. By default, PVM generates what? Technical error message. I think you are understanding. PVM comes out of program flow and PVM by default generates which messages? Technical error messages. That is called the second one. That is called the next part of it. We got it. Is the first one and second one is clear? Clear or not? After that, PVM comes out of the program flow. Actually, I made it comes out of the program flow. And last step, that part I will write it here. PVM by default later. PVM by default generates what message? Technical error message. So I split into three things. If you want to do these three things, I don't know how far you will understand the seventh point is a danger point. Danger point. So this danger point. To do these three steps, internally to be done by this, to do these three steps, to do the above, to do the above, step, step one, comma what? Step two, and what? Step three. To do the step one, step two, and step three, PVM creates, this is a danger, creates an object. Creates an object. This I will write in capital letters. PVM creates an object. PVM creates an object. It creates an object. To create an object, what is compulsory required? Class is required. PVM creates an object with respect to an exception class. Here I am writing an exception class. By using an exception class, very, very danger. To do the above step 1, 2, 3, etc., PVM creates an object with respect to an exception class. That exception class you need to know. And these classes I already made in your brain. But already I put in your brain. Shall I show you that? Shall I bring out from your brain? Go to the Python environment once. S is equal to what? Python. Come on. S of 0, what is the answer? What input I am giving here? 0. What input I am giving? Come on. 0. 0 is a valid or invalid? Valid. What is the result is coming? Valid input I am giving or not? So what output I got it? Valid output I got it. See, next I will write it. Of -1 I am writing. What input I got it? Come on. N I got it. Next I am writing something like -2. What is the answer is coming? 4. So I wrote it like that. Next I am writing S of 2 I wrote it. S of 2 I wrote it. What is the answer? T I got it. And S of 3 I wrote it. What is the answer? H. Be careful now. What inputs I am entering? Valid inputs I am entering. Now I am writing S of 10 I am writing. I am passing which input? Invalid input I am entering. That gives what? Come on. మొద్దు బాబులు ఇప్పుడు చెప్పింది ఎందుక మొద్దులు మీరంతా. All sorts of invalid input gives. All runtime errors are called what? ఇప్పుడు చెప్పింది అది కదా. What is 10? Invalid input. Invalid input is called exception. What is the exception means what? It is an error at runtime. Which error you got it already according to my discussion? According to my previous classes, which error? మీకు అది తెలియకపోతే ఎందుగా మీరు అసలు వేస్ట్. ఆల్ వి పీపుల్ ఆర్ వేస్ట్. సి ఐల్ సీ ఎనీబడి సెడ్ ఇన్ ద లాస్ట్. ఇండెక్స్ ఎర్రర్. కళ్యాణ్ రావు వెరీ గుడ్ స్టూడెంట్. ఇండెక్స్ మీరు వేస్ట్ అసలు. మీరు దేని పనికిరారు అసలు వేస్ట్. సి ఈ కోలన్ మీరంతా వేస్ట్. సో గో టు దట్ స్ట్రింగ్ డేటా టైప్స్, మళ్ళా ఫోజులో ఒకటి సీక్వెన్స్ డేటా టైప్, ఎస్టీఆర్ డేటా టైప్, ఆపరేషన్స్ అండ్ ఎస్టీఆర్ డేటా టైప్ చూస్తాను. ఆపరేషన్స్ అండ్ ఎస్టీఆర్ డేటా టైప్. See that indexing. Here strOb is of index. Actually, if you know, that is easy. మీరు వేస్ట్ అసలు. Here index can be either positive or negative. Here when we enter a valid index, you will get the value from that. When we enter invalid index, we get what? చెప్పానా లేదా? Already explained or not? Why I said for today to understand exception handling easily. మీకు అదే రాదు ఇంక ఇదేమొస్తుందా ఎందుకని మీరు అసలు. Why you are, once human life is created, some meaning must be there. Without reading, you are coming and sitting in front of me. What is this now? 10. 10 is what? The moment I said should grasp it. 10 is invalid input. That is invalid input. Which error I said already? Index error is called a class today. Index error is called a class. This index error is called a class. That class is called today exception class. We discussed so far error. Which error? It is an error occurring at the runtime, which is known as what here? Exception class. What is the name of the class? Index error. It is an error. మీరు చదువుకోలేదు కాబట్టి మీకు తెలియట్లా. Since you did not read, you are not coming to know. If you read already, if you come, this is nothing. All types of errors names which I said in my classes already, they are called exception classes. ఇంకో క్వశ్చన్ అడుగుతాను ఇక్కడ. Let me check out your knowledge. Python S2 is equal to Java. I am writing S1 by S2. Huh? What is an answer? Huh? ఎందుకే మీరు అసలు. So this is called a type error. Type error. String by string is not possible. String by string is not possible. Type error. ఎందుకే మీరు అసలు. Int of what? 100x. Int of 100x. Value error. Value error. What is value error? Type error, index error, these are all called exception classes. Exception classes. A is equal to 2 plus 3j. A dot real 2.0. A dot imaginary. A dot imag will give you 3.0. A dot imaginary. What is the answer? Attribute error. Attribute error is also an exception class. All classes which are available in Python are called what? Exception classes. Exception classes. If we come back to that kind of thing, this is what I am saying. To understand the 7th point, you must remember the knowledge of what? Errors. All errors are called what here? Exception classes. All errors are called exception classes. Those classes you defined, already defined. They are called predefined exceptions we can call. To do these 3 steps, internally PVM creates an object of what? Exception class. This is the point you need to say. Now, 8th point I am saying, simply when an exception occurs, conclusion I am giving, when an exception occurs in Python program, when an exception occurs in Python program, then PVM, come on, creates an object of appropriate exception class. PVM create an appropriate exception class. Best example, here I said already, S of what? 0. What input? Invalid input. Invalid input gives what? Exception. Every exception when is occurring, what is happening? 3 steps. Abnormal termination, coming out of it, and gives which message? Technical error message. To give these three steps internally creates what? Object of exception class. Which object of exception class created? And gives you which messages? This entire three highlighted part is called what? Technical error message. That is coming because of this object creation by the PVM. So any invalid input is occurring, straightforward what will create? Object. Object of which class? Exception class. See, type error. String by string, not possible. What error? Type error. Wrong arguments you are passing, type error. Wrong conversions you are doing. Wrong conversions you are doing, value error. So all errors are called what? Exceptions. Here I am saying, when an exception occurs in Python program, then PVM creates an object of what? Appropriate exception class. From now onwards, any exception is occurring, simply PVM create an object of which class? Yes. So all exceptions in Python are just treated as what? Object of which class? Exceptions. So conclusion I am writing, ninth point I am writing. Hence, all exceptions are considered as what? All exceptions are considered as what? Objects of which classes? Yes. Exception classes. Exception classes. I hope you are following. All exceptions are considered as what? Objects of exception classes. This is related to what? Exception handling building points. I think these points are clear. Clear or not clear? Online students, based on these points, we will be moving to the further explanation. We will be moving to the further explanation. And here, first you must be perfect in this area. Then we will go to the coding part. Students in online, I think it is clear. Building points of what? Exception handling. So these points I said. Types of errors also you got it. These errors and exception handling you understand. Now next class, I'll stop at this point because if I go to types of exceptions, it takes some time. It takes some time because I need to go for at least 30-40 minutes I need to explain. Even if I explain off 10 minutes time is there, I may not be able to complete. Even if I explain, tomorrow anyhow you will forget and come. Why to waste my time? So tomorrow only we'll go for that. And tomorrow class we'll go for types of exceptions. Examples I'll show you. I'll go for what? Keywords for dealing with what? Exception handling I'll discuss. And tomorrow class, very, very important discussion. Don't miss it. Okay now? Election counting, that, this, etc. If you try to go, it will count. It will count you. Just now I said, no, counting will be done for so many times and that we never bother about it. Next day morning news, you see who is winning and who is losing. And that is normal for them. And you try to win every day by attending the classes. Okay now? So I will stop the class. Tomorrow class will go for further. Okay, students, online students, any doubts are there? You hold on. I will clarify your doubts. Okay, students, carry on. Thank you. All the best. Online students, students who are in the online, am I audible, students? Am I audible to everybody now? Okay, Naresh. Naresh. Student name is Naresh.
హలో సార్, గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ సార్.
Good evening.
సార్, నాకు ఒక ఎర్రర్ వస్తుంది సార్, కీబోర్డ్ ఇంటరప్టెడ్ కంట్రోల్స్ ఎర్రర్. అది ఎలా సాల్వ్ చేయాలి సార్?
Keyboard.
కీబోర్డ్ ఇంటరప్టెడ్ కంట్రోల్స్ ఎర్రర్ వస్తుంది సార్.
కీబోర్డ్ ఇంటరప్ట్ ఎర్రర్ మనం కంట్రోల్ సి ప్రెస్ చేస్తేనే అట్లా వస్తుంది.
ఓకే సార్.
మనం when you press control C, then only will get that type of mistake. By default, it won't come.
ఓకే సార్.
It's not a runtime error. It is a programmer manually you are doing that.
ఓకే. ఓకే సార్, గాట్ ఇట్ సార్.
Okay, Naresh.
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
Okay, ma'am. Nirkar Behra.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, actually, the abnormally termination point, I'm confused. Please, can you explain again? The 6.6a.
Yeah. Simple. Suppose I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is my program flow. That is 1 to 10. If I execute successfully, it is called what? Successful termination, successful execution. Because of some wrong input, fourth line only stopping and coming out of the program flow without executing 5 to 10 statements. That is called abnormal termination.
Okay, if 4 point is stopped, then next step will be stopped, right?
Wherever that exception is coming, there only program execution stopped.
Okay. Got it.
Understood?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. Any more doubts, students? Any more doubts you have? No more doubts, huh? Okay, students, I will upload these notes for you, whatever I discussed it. Tomorrow, don't miss it. Very, very important discussion. Thank you, students. All the best.